I don't know what to do and where to stand. Today I'm with my twin, Donald, and we're going to be talking about karate uniforms, the etiquette, how to tie a belt, how to take care of your uniform. We'll talk about the ways that karate uniform helps you to show your understanding of karate discipline and etiquette. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into all the different meanings, but the full term is dogi, which means training uniform. And the way you wear it shows your diligence, it shows your character. Just like your school uniform or your work uniform, this is a working uniform and needs to be respected as such. So let's talk about how we put on the gi jacket. I'm also making this in part for parents who have never done karate, but they want their children to look their best. And the way you show them how to dress helps them be their best and helps them grow in the long term. And the idea is that you help them get dressed when they're 4, 5, 6, and once they're old enough, they start taking over responsibility for their karate uniform, packing it for class, making sure everything's in its place, that they don't forget their belt. Mistakes happen, but this is a great way for you to teach responsibility through the uniform. So, first we're going to start with which cord we're going to tie first. Always do the one without the maker's mark on the inside. If it's got the maker's mark, which is this needs to be on the outside. This is usually when you are put into your casket in Japan. When you die, they put your kimono this way around. So please, bad luck, have it this way around. So I usually just do a simple shoelace tie. Not too tight, because these are a nightmare to get undone if you do triple and double knots. So one loose knot and a gentle bow that you pull through. And this also stops ties from hanging out of the side. We tie here, 1, 2, make a bow, tuck it in, neat and tidy. Now obviously your federation badge, if you have one, goes on the left-hand side of the chest, that way, and it's over your heart. My recommendation is when you stitch these on, wear the jacket first, take a pencil mark, and then make sure it is where you want it to be. Pants are pretty straightforward. Just make sure that they're not too long. I like a more traditional Okinawan cut, higher cut pants, and higher cut sleeves. We're going to do 2 kinds of belts. One is a simple knot. One is what we call in the dojo fortune cookie knot or lock knot. It's one of our dojo's trademarks that as soon as someone is capable of tying a pretty knot, that's how we roll. It's how we stand out at Gashkus, and it's actually the best way to keep your uniform on. So we're going to come a little bit closer, and I'm going to teach you how to tie it from the outside, from the parent's point of view. We're using this belt because it's got a handy stripe to help you see. It's actually not one of the belts in our rankings. This was an accidental order a few years ago. We don't have a junior blue belt. So you as the parent are kneeling in front of your beloved child. This is how you're going to tie on their belt. You're going to take about 1/3 of the belt, put it on the belly button, go around the back, and then round again. And then you shift the belts until they're in the front, and you've got 2 tails the same length. With practice, I promise this will become much faster. The reason I've done this is that this way you get a nice, neat, straight stripe at the back instead of that crossover, untidy look. Now, you're at this part of the belt. The top one on the outside goes underneath. It must touch the belly button and go over. This way, you should be able to let go and the belt is already self-supporting. Don't ignore that back one and only go through the front. Then you get this untidy look. The other problem is someone can grab the belt and tighten and the person's out of breath. So we're back here one more time. The outside belt, so this one's underneath the belt, this one's on top, goes over. Make sure you touch the belly button and through. Simple knot now. Right over left, through, almost perfect. I pride myself on having exact length tails. I'll undo that one more time. That's a simple knot. This is, you're running a bit late for class and you don't have time to do the fancy knot. This way, right on top, over, under, through. That gives you a very simple entry-level knot. Good if you're in a rush. Aesthetically, it does not please me. So let's do the fancy knot, because I know you can do it. All the steps are the same up to this point. I'm going to go through them one more time just in case. Take about a third of the way through the belt. Place this on the belly button. Leave the short tail. Long tail goes around and around. And behind the belly button and through. Now you're back to having two tails. The top tail, the one that's come out of the belt. You're going to make a little loop like a bunny ear, and you're going to leave it like that. The bottom one's going to fly up. It's going to go through the bunny ear. Here's the tricky part. And in between the belts. I'm going to ask my assistant director, Junior, to bring the camera closer so you can see this knot in its detail. Right. So from here, this bottom tail travels through the ear, in between the belts, slide it through, you gently tug, and voila. Look at that. Perfect ends, and you have fortune cookie knot. 1, 2, 3. Pleasing, and it does not come off. I've had this belt last through 100 randori with no problem. One more time. You have your two loops, one on top and one on the bottom. There's your bunny ear. This one comes up and through, in between. And you may need to turn it just to make sure nothing gets twisted. Gently pull it through. If you pull it through too fast, you can't correct as you go and have a tidy belt. Okay, general etiquette when it comes to karate suits. 1, when you're not in the dojo, don't wear your karate suit. It sounds like an obvious thing. If you're at a gashku and you're in between seminars and you're going to run to the shops, for example, gi, pants, and t-shirt is okay. Don't be that chop who walks around town with their gi jacket on or their belt over their shoulder. First line of the dojo can be humble and polite, and it's a bit amateurish to be walking around town in your full karate suit. You're not cosplaying a karate sensei. 2, try not to eat in your gi. Don't eat in your gi in the dojo. Don't eat in your gi on the way into the dojo in the car. You will have lots of stains on your karate suit. It is inevitable that a suit will stain. You'll see here in Sensei Jagger's Shireido, yes, it's got stains. We also have a toddler. It's impossible to not have a stained karate suit when you're trying to teach and run a family. But we have a care guide for how to look after your karate suit. You'll see it appear this side. And go check it out. That helps you manage the stains on your karate suit. Number 3, it'll differ from dojo to dojo. In our dojo, boys are allowed to not wear shirts in the summer, recommended for winter. Not that it gets cold in Johannesburg, we're not that cold, you know. Generally for girls, for modesty reasons, we usually do wear a t-shirt underneath. All of these gis, barring 1 or 2 brands, are cut for men. So they tend to gape open quite easily. So it is nice to have a shirt just so you feel more comfortable. I also recommend for boys to wear t-shirts because it lengthens the lifespan of your gi. Let your t-shirt take the damage of your sweat. Let the shirt absorb it. It expands the lifespan of your gi, especially if you've taken the time to invest in a really high-quality karate suit. Number 5, please label your stuff. Belts tend to get left behind. Jackets get left behind. You don't have to have expensive Japanese embroidery like this, but simply labeling here behind the maker's mark, or in my case on the collar, especially when you're at a seminar and people have taken off their jackets to dry. Please make sure your stuff is labeled. It'll save everyone a lot of time and money. How you wear your karate uniform is how you carry yourself. By making sure your karate uniform is neat and tidy. Hello, my son. Have you got something? A broom. Good Deshi child, sweeping the dojo. So in addition to this morning's footage on karate uniforms, the care thereof, and wearing thereof, it's important to note belt etiquette. And this is something that I've personally been shouted at by the Japanese. Don't stand with your thumb in your belts. It tends to happen unconsciously, and yes, you look a bit like you're voguing, but no. And Cobra Kai, I think, did this for a very distinct reason, and Karate Kid, absolutely don't do this. Don't look like this guy, like Kreese. Also, very untidy. If you don't know what to do with your hands in the dojo, just stand with them here or here. Absolutely not here. And definitely not with your thumbs tucked in your belt. You're not a cowboy. So if your gi is the traditional style ties, like this, it is a good idea to move your ties so that you can correct your ties in the side of your jacket and not having to flip up your gi jacket, especially if you're in a group. The other thing that's worth noting, when you do have to correct your gi or tidy up your gi, turn away from the sensei in the group, go to the side, make your corrections, and then turn back refreshed. Everyone knows that karate engenders discipline in 100 little ways. And one of the ways that we teach discipline, not only to our adult students, but to our children as well, is how to look after their uniform, how to carry themselves, and how to present themselves. Because the same lessons on how you treat your gi will apply to whether they become prefects or they go for job interviews. Yes, not everyone's wearing a suit and tie to a job interview, but it's still important to look presentable and to look like you, quite frankly, that you care. I don't swear. I don't want our channel to get demonetized. I think that covers everything for now. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy our content. And my assistant director would like to remind you, please, to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas about tying knots to make it easier for people, please drop it in the comments below, and hopefully we will see you back here again next Friday with a new karate video. Arigatou gozaimasu.